Maybe the lighthouse in the woods occupies the same space as Camden, Maine. Maybe it wasn't a wormhole so much as a dimensional rift.
Jade.
I can understand an awful lot of people get confused, but the truth is a wormhole is a shortcut through space and time, whereas a dimensional rift...
Jade, stop.
Sorry, what?
I thought you said you had something exciting to show me.
Yeah. All right, okay, listen. I understand why you might be skeptical. I am too. Something tells me that it has to mean something. The bottle tree was important to Miranda, right? And according to Tabitha, she's the only one who had a connection to this place long before she arrived.
Did you look at the bottles from the other tree?
What other tree? The one in Maine? No, how could I?
The one... Sarah and I found one of these trees when we went out into the woods together. Wasn't a portal tree, but it still had bottles hanging from it. Messages inside. I pulled one down. It said 1864. 1864.
1864. Where's the second tree?
But things are really hard to see.
David, I've waited a long time to talk to you, and I'm very happy to be here today. I have to tell you, if you took 100% of the comedic moments in From, which there are not many, Jade has 99.9% of them.
Who has the other 0.01%?
Kenny and Victor seem to be having a great time. Maybe them? I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'll talk to my...
What am I doing going up against a king of sarcasm like that? So I have to tell you, when we first see him, like Jade is this like 80s movie preppy, like he's kind of got that unlikability to him, and watching him evolve to where you are now has been such a treat. I've absolutely loved it. But I do have to say, it's just the way, and getting back to the comedic part, watching him act like he's being punked or an escape room, I don't know, for me, I thought was just something you don't see him from, but it looked like from an actor, it's so much fun.
It was. It let me. It gave me a chance to be a little bit bigger than I normally would, and it was fun. Ironically, I spent a lot of 2019 doing a lot of escape rooms, and so for me, walking into it and walking into that storyline, I thought, "Oh, this is great. I get this," and I get that it would match the size of Jade's ego to think that an entire town full of people would be in on the joke, for his benefit. Like, what a concept.
But there's a lot of great moments, right? So like I'm on episode 8 or 9, I can't remember, but there's a moment where he's going back and forth with Jim again, and Jim says, you want people to see that you're the man, basically, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. And then when he walks out, Henry makes a snide little comment like, yeah, that arrogant guy. Like, I have to first say, I'm glad Henry brought his alcoholism from the real world to From. That was a real treat. But what do you see? I mean, you just kind of hinted at it. Do you see your character as, I think he's come a long way. Do you still see him as arrogant at the point we are now?
That's interesting. It was interesting that Victor's dad sort of latches onto that. He picks up on that.
Yeah.
Well, but it also speaks to their tiny little interaction beforehand where, he was sleeping in the cot and in the bar, and Jade sees him. He's not quite sure what to do with him. And he's just kind of impatient with him. He's like, you're here, you're distracting me. I'm trying to work on this thing. You're making noises. Stop drinking so loud. To your question, though, I think the audience gets to see behind the curtain a little bit with Jade. We get to see him interact with a variety of different counterpoints, right? He's got not just Victor, a little bit of Boyd, right? Octa, and with Tian Chen, and with certain people, Jade allows himself to put the mask down and relate like a real person. How and why he chooses these people, I'm not sure. I suspect he sees, like he does with Christy when Christy comes and they've got Tian Shen's body to deal with. It's like, this is not the time to play the role of, the entrepreneur with the showman. this is not the time. This is not the time. And I think he can modulate and he can control that. So in that sense, there's a little bit more going on there than we necessarily see. But and this, again, testament to the quality of writing on the show that we've had the opportunity, despite having, or maybe because of having such an ensemble cast, such a large cast, still having moments where you've got character development for everybody. All those dials are up and we can really see people. And you get the opportunity over 3 seasons to try things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work for me. But generally, on the average, be able to show different sides of Jade in a way that kind of reflects who he is as a person, and not just like a one dimensional, one note type of thing, but more like a chord, like a musical chord. Like you can hear all the notes.
Yeah, that's really well said. I have 2 last questions for you. That was an awesome answer. I have to say it's just really great to watch the way, because From can humble people, obviously, and I think Jade has become super likable, right? There's a scene in one of the Percy Jackson movies where they're lost in a casino because they're eating these lotus flowers, and they lose track of time and life. And is some of that in the Fromville, where they're eating some of the foods there, the drink? Is
Oh,
any of that in Fromville? Somebody in Reddit brought this up.
that's a
It was
good
a really,
question. That's
yeah,
such a good question, because I was literally thinking about that. There was a scene that I was watching yesterday. I was rewatching one of the episodes, and Jim goes into his house and reflexively turns on the tap, drinks water, and has a gulp of water, and all of a sudden the phone starts ringing. And I think to myself, like there's nothing in this town that's trying to protect you or save you, and yet we eat the food and drink the water without so much as questioning what we're doing. Like,
yeah,
to your point, yeah, what if the characters have just been poisoning themselves this whole time? uh Now I'm thinking about the Crucible. Do you remember the play? Like it's all about the witch hunts, and there's a prevailing theory. Now, what was happening in Salem back in the 1600s was that people were suffering from ergot poisoning. There was a fungus in the wheat because of like poor storage and handling. They were baking bread, they were eating this wheat, and they were
yeah.
ingesting the ergot and seeing, things flying around, and there's Abigail and she's a witch and whatever. Like there is a very good chance that you might be right. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, and I thank you for this. I'll end with this. One of the Reddit users said, please tell him this. Feed Jim to the monsters and marry Tabitha. That's what they wanted you to know. So, thank you, and I love watching your character. It's been so much fun so far.
Thank you, Derek. It's been a
Yes,
pleasure. Thank you so much for talking about the show and getting people to watch it. We really appreciate it.
you're great. Thank you.